Chad, we spoke with Chad. Yeah. And he said it's okay for us. He took you up.
No, man.
Live you well. Matthias.
Soldier Matthias.
Okay, you need us anywhere?
I think you're here, like, you talking up to me.
Okay.
I ain't been nobody here. I thought you was gonna come, so you was gonna come through.
Yeah, nah, they got him stuck at work. So,
Oh, okay, at work?
Yeah, so, you know, we all talked and they can't make it. They'll send somebody.
Okay.
But is it okay if we speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, these guys, right?
That's my homeboy Chief. This is Tyler. Chief.
Okay. Alright, Tyler Chief. Hey, shalom, men, most on Christ blessed. We're the men of Israel with Israel united in Christ. We teach that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they are the children of Israel according to the Bible. We've been lied to. We've been called Negroes, we've been called niggas, we've been called spits, African American. All these words are not listed in the Bible. That's not what God called us. What we do, we're a Bible-based group, and we teach what the Bible has written about us. Because throughout the whole time we've been on this earth, the whole time we've been living, the pastors haven't been telling us the truth about who we really are. They just collect the tithe money and then go about our day. We don't really know what the Bible actually says. So I'm gonna hold this. Go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. The Bible substantiates who we are. The whole time we thought this Bible was a white man's book. We thought Jesus Christ was white. We thought King Solomon was white. King David was white. But the whole time, from the beginning to the end, the people of the Bible has been blacks, or what you will call today Hispanics and Native Americans. So watch this. Go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 11.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
So what the word means to transgress, meaning we have broken God's laws. It says all Israel. One of God's laws that God says that we shouldn't break is that we shouldn't be sleeping with multiple women. We're supposed to be marrying our women. We shouldn't be causing them to be whores. So that's one commandment. God says if we transgress any of the commandments, these things are going to happen to us. Watch this, read on.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
We didn't obey the voice of God. Meaning we go to church on Sunday. The Sabbath day is God's day. Read on.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
So God says a curse has been poured upon us because we transgressed His law. So when we look in our neighborhood, brother right here, as our neighborhood, do we consider it blessed or is it cursed? It's what? Yeah, it's cursed. We don't need the book to tell us that. We can't even walk in our own streets without looking at our brothers a certain type of way, thinking we might get robbed, we might get jumped, we might get shot. God says we're going to be cursed. Read on.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses. God
says an oath is written in the law of Moses. You know what an oath is? An oath is a promise. It's like, yo, hey, bro, I bet if we do this, I promise this is going to happen. So God made an oath with the children of Israel. Read on.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
So in the laws of Moses, there's an oath. There's a promise that God made with us. Read on.
The servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
So God says we sinned against him, and there's an oath that's promised that's going to happen to us. Read.
Verse 12. And he hath confirmed his words.
When he says he's confirmed it, it happened. Watch this, read.
Which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
So God says a great evil is going to happen to the children of Israel because we broke his commandments. Read.
For under the whole heaven,
so it says underneath this whole sky, read,
have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
Meaning nobody could compare our history to theirs. Meaning what happened to us, nobody else could relate. So it says,
these are the words of the covenant.
You see that? The covenant, the promise, the oath. Read.
Which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land.
So he made a promise. He says, this is the covenant I made with y'all when I took y'all out of Egypt. If you know anything about Egypt, when it says when he told Moses, let my people go, what were the people in Egypt doing? Those people. You know?
No.
What were they? Do anybody know? Do anybody know when the people of Israel were in Egypt the first time, what were their jobs? The occupation. They were slaves.
They were slaves.
Good. So remember, he just took them out of that. So when you hear the word Egypt, it's synonymous for bondage, slavery. So when you hear the oath that's written, it's going to go into the same thing. Watch this. Go to Deuteronomy 28, read 15. When you read the book of Deuteronomy 28, read it for yourself. From 1 to 14 are the blessings. God says if we kept all his commandments, we'll be blessed above all nations on the earth. But we didn't want to do that because it says that we are rebellious people. Watch this, read verse 15. This is the curse that underneath the whole heaven have not been done unto other people like it hasn't been done to us. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
See, you notice he says, if you don't listen to the voice of your God, because the Chinese people, they have their God. The Caucasians, they have their God. The East Indians, they have their God. But the God of the Holy Bible, that's our God. That's nobody else's God. Yeah, he created all people, but he chose one people to be his people. Read that.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it says curses will happen to the children of Israel if we decided to break his commandments. So curses, good or bad things? They're bad things. That's why growing up, your parents would say don't say no curse word. So watch this, read the next verse.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
So it says in the cities. I'm a truck driver, so I go all around the U.S. It don't matter if I'm in Cali, New York, St. Louis, Chicago. Everywhere I go, my people are in the lowest state. We're in the hood. We're in the ghetto. It says we're going to be what?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
No matter what city you go to, where you see the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we call it the ghetto. The Native Americans, they call it the reservation. The Hispanics, they call it the burial. So it's still the same thing. It's the ghetto. It's the hoods. And we at the low-income neighborhoods. We paying what? How much you pay for rent?
$3,000.
They keep boosting up the rent. We getting paid minimum wage. We barely can make it by. They have it in a way so that way, since we can't pay our rent, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna resort to selling drugs, making quick money and then getting jammed up. Watch this. Read.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
When back then, when we was in the field, was in the cotton fields, right? Was in the tobacco fields, the sugar cane fields. Today, what field is it talking about today? Because the curses are still relevant. What we call it today, the work field. You got a job? You work here. You got a job? Where you work? Is that the job you wanted? No, that's the job you had to do.
Nah, I chose that job.
Yeah, but I'm saying, growing up, you ain't want to be a nurse. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us wanted to be something else. But God says you're gonna be cursed in the field, meaning you're gonna have to just get a job that's enough to pay the bills. Read on.
Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Alright, so basket in your store. We don't have no businesses up and running to where we could sustain it ourselves. If we don't pay the rent, if we don't pay for the building costs, whatever, we end up losing it. It says cursed shall be your basket, meaning the things you put in. It's like you can't even keep any money. You live paycheck to paycheck. And then it says, cursed shall be your store, what you have to give out. You get what I'm saying? Think about this, right? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. We're still in the curses. The curses say curse gonna be your basket and your store. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Remember, this is the oath that God made with the children of Israel. He says, you're gonna have to serve your enemies, right? Do we serve our enemies? Some way? Who's our enemies?
I have no idea.
Alright, so how did our people get to America?
We came from Africa.
Yeah, but did we come by airplanes? What was that, sir?
By other Africans selling them into slavery.
We're gonna break that down too, because a lot of people think we were selling our own people. I don't know if anybody in here Levi, a so-called Haitian. Anybody so-called Haitian in here? Jamaican. Alright, same thing. We still the same people. The thing about it is that we're real powerful people. We don't sell each other. We won't even let one of them get jump in front of us. So for us to think that you'll put your own brother in chains, we've been systematically programmed to think that way. When really, we're gonna read the scriptures, you're gonna actually find out who sold us. Because we're black just like everybody else. No, if you go to Asia, there's black Asians. If you go to Japan, there's black Japanese. Every nation was dark on this earth. Eventually they became light because they started mixing with the Caucasian man. So watch this, right? Read 48.
Verse 48.
Uh-huh.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
God says you're going to serve your enemies. Your enemies was the same person who brought you on that cargo slave ship. That enemy is that same person who raped your foremother, who killed your forefathers, who had you serve over 400 years in slavery. He says you're going to have to serve that same man, read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
God sent them against us because we broke his commandments, read.
In hunger.
When you hungry, McDonald's, Burger King's, Denny's, Walmart, Costco's, BJ's, whatever you can name, you have to go to your enemies to get it. Read on.
In hunger.
When you hungry,
And in thirst.
Zephyr Hills, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Gatorade, Powerade, energy drink, anything you want, you're going to have to go to your enemy to get it. Read.
And in nakedness.
Meaning your clothing. Even though that some of our people have their names on it like Yeezy. Y'all seen what happened with Ye, right? The dude said one thing about him being Israel. What happened? Dude lost, what, a billion in a day? Think about it. Everybody who spoke about them being Israel has been canceled. But think about this, right? But when we said we Muslim, nothing happens. We said we what's that? Asian, Afro-Asian? Buddhist, all types of things. We don't get canceled. But the moment we said we're the children of Israel, hey, say your goodbye. You're no longer in the limelight anymore. Because you have to fit their agenda. Watch this, read on.
And in want of all things.
So in one of everything, you got a driver's license, who you ain't got it for? Your job, who did you go get it for? You know what I'm saying? You had a child, who did you go to have that child for or with? You know what I'm saying? You went to the hospital. You went to their public system. You went to them for aid. God says you're going to have to go to your enemies in want of all things. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
He says you're going to have a chain. They're going to put a chain of iron around your neck. Because you broke God's commandments, God going to send that enemy against you. Read on.
Until he have destroyed thee.
So this is the part that you have to put together. He says he's going to put this chain around your neck until he has destroyed you. We're still walking the earth today. We're still alive. So have he destroyed us? Hell yeah. Because what's your nationality? You what? You what? How you American when your ancestors were brought here? You're destroyed. You see what I mean? Think about it. The moment they took them chains out, we don't have to call him a slave anymore. He's broken. He don't know where he's from. He don't know who his God is. He don't know where his people come from. He don't know nothing about his history. Matter of fact, every February we're going to tell him that he's been a slave. That your people had to fight for equal rights, civil rights. So that way you always feel you're inferior to them. When really you're the greatest people walking on this earth. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, we're coming right back to the curses. Because this is what God said. The moment we find this out, and that we have to walk according to this word, it changes everything. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto
God
the
says
Lord thy
the
God.
blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, there are holy people unto God. Meaning we're set apart from other people. Think about it, right? Boxing, invention, boxing, invention. You get what I'm saying? Open heart surgery. Anything that you can name, the black man has been on top of everything. God says we're a holy people. Read on.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
God says we're special people unto himself. The moment we start looking at each other like that, we won't be walking around mean mugging each other. It's crazy how we can walk in our own streets, pass by our own brother and don't even say what's up. You over here making sure that, man, I hope this dude don't try to, go in my pockets. But once we know we're a holy people, we set apart, we gonna start treating each other that way. But the moment they brought that image of that white man Jesus and said, that's God, that's why you'll rob in your own neighborhood and you won't go to Pinecrest and rob them crackers. You won't go there, you'll go in your own neighborhood because you see your people like crack and you're gonna treat them like crack. Because that's what's been systematically programmed in our heads. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Watch this, go back to the curses, that's it? No. Finish it off.
God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people.
God says we're above all people. We're not equal. God says the children of Israel are above all people. Read on. That's it.
That are upon the face of the earth.
That's upon the face of the earth. Now watch this. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. Remember, God says in Daniel chapter 9, he says these curses will only happen to the children of Israel. And then we're reading the curses. One, we're going to have to serve our enemies in one of all things. Now think about it. Process of elimination. What nation today is serving their enemies in one of all things? Is there any? The Japanese have their own country. Which one?
It's a lot of them. Like you said, what countries are
Serving their enemies in one of all things.
China.
China.
We're serving China. America is serving China.
No, they not.
Why not?
Because think about
We
this. right?
buy from them.
Yeah, we buy from them, but we use our own money with our own faces to buy that product from them. Think about it. We have a whole military. America has a whole military. Go ahead.
National deficit because we still owe China.
Think about this. They just gave 52.
Taiwan,
They just gave
Japan,
50. But check this out. They just gave
Indonesia.
$52 billion over to the Africans who sold us. So how they they print their own money? They got the IMF in America where they control the money system. America could say, Haiti, your money is only worth $1 compared to my $100 bill. You get what I'm saying?
America doesn't control the national, like the world treasury. You know what I'm saying? They can't control how much like the Haitian currency is worth.
Yes, they do.
That's
It's
based
called the
on,
IMF.
That's based on like the world instead of one nation.
No, the IMF. The IMF controls that. You can look it up. The IMF. They control that. It's in America. Now watch this, right? You said another thing. How about embargoes and sanctions?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Embargoes is what they did to Haiti. When Haiti got their independence, America put an embargo on Haiti. So that way they won't sell their sugar cane or their tobacco. So that way they wait. Huh?
They did the same thing with Cuba, right?
Exactly. With the missile crisis. So
But that was for a good reason.
yeah, but check this out though. You would say it's a good reason because in our minds we like, yo, they could have bombed America and we ain't.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? But think about this, right? The only reason that they teamed up with Russia was because the oppression that they was getting from America with all those sanctions. So in order for Castro to have, get some power over them, he had to say, look, I could bust a move with y'all. Don't think I'm out here lacking. That's just, lingo that we speak.
Yeah.
But that's how he had to deal with the Russians to get America off his back. But think about this. We just said, read that verse again, at the bottom of verse 48.
Verse 48. And in one of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Even with the embargo that America placed on Cuba, Cuba had to go to another Caucasian who had his hands in the slave trade as well. So don't think it's just America. The French, the British, all them boys was involved. The Dutch, the Scottish, all of them was involved in our slavery. The Asians, the Japanese, everybody had a hand in destroying us. That's what we don't understand. That's why they only teach us a little bit of our history. But watch this. Go to verse 68. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So he says he's going to bring us into Egypt again with ships. Now he says he's going to bring us into Egypt again with ships, right? So we spoke before. You can read it from the jump again?
Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Remember we spoke before. Egypt is synonymous for the word bondage, slavery. Because that's what we serve. God says he's going to send us into Egypt again. Read, with what?
With ships.
Now you have, again, process of elimination. Who's serving their enemies in one of all things, and who was sold to their enemies from slave ships? What people were those? Was it everybody? See, remember, God says in Daniel chapter 9, this would only happen to his people. So now you have to think, if this happened to your ancestors, you are a descendant of God's people. You are an Israelite by birth, not by conversion, by blood, but not by religion either. By blood, you are a descendant of God's chosen people. You are the Israelites. Nobody could debate that. That's why they don't want us on TV or with the Bible open. Because the moment we open that Bible and that words start coming out, people are like, wait a minute, that is us. Think about this. Some of us call each other African American, right? African American was started by Jesse Jackson in 1989. If you were born before 1989 and you call yourself African American, you're older than your nationality. That makes no sense. Before they used to call you Negro. Your name changed like every other, decade? Every 10 years. Now watch this, continue reading.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Meaning we won't see our homeland again. Now watch this. Continue reading.
And there,
Stop right there. Once we got them slave ships, what happened? What happened? You know that, right? Now let's see if the Bible say the same thing. Read.
and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
How do you know that in the Bible said the same thing? Because it's our history. You get what I'm saying? It's evident, huh?
Was enslaved by the Bible.
Was enslaved by the Bible? What you mean by that?
Because when the white man used to discipline us and whoop our asses, they used the Bible to tell us exactly
Right.
what
They
they wanted.
So check this out, right? They reintroduced the Bible to us, right?
Oh, no,
Because
okay.
we just read that this happened to us, right? So watch this. Go to Jeremiah 14 and verse 2.
It was a spiritual enslavement.
Right. And it was a physical enslavement as well.
That too.
But think about this. Once you know the history of what happened through the Dark Ages and the Renaissance, you can start piecing it together. It's just that we've been taught by their school system. So everything we've been taught growing up has been a lie. We don't know everything about our history. The Bible brings everything out from the time of Adam till now. Watch this. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth. And
Judah is the so-called African Americans. It says Judah mourneth, and in the Bible, it speaks of the three kingdoms, the three nations that's in that kingdom. I mean, the three tribes that's in that kingdom: Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Meaning the so-called African Americans, the so-called Jamaicans, and the so-called Asians. They were the last three to be conquered. Read.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof labor.
Meaning our leaders are weak. Read.
They are black.
What color are they?
They are black.
The Bible says they are black. The same people who got on these slave ships were black people, because with the evidence. Watch this. Go to Songs of Solomon. This is Jesus Christ's great grandfather. This is the grandfather of the Messiah. Watch this. Song of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 5. It's all throughout the Bible, because check this out. When God made Adam, right? What did he choose to make Adam with? With what? Nah, the woman came from Adam. When God made Adam, when you know a little bit about the Bible? When God made Adam, what did he choose to make Adam with? Don't worry, we got you. How about you? You know? Don't worry, we're gonna read it. No, read Song of Solomon first, and then we're gonna read that.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
So this is the wisest king to ever live. Watch this.
I am black.
So all throughout the Bible, they tell you what color the people are. They keep telling you they're black. So yeah, they reintroduced the Bible to us, but when they did read it to us, did they ever read those scriptures? They never went to the Old Testament and said, look, this is what happened to the children of Israel. Watch this, read that.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7.
This is the first man.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
He used the dirt to make the first man. He's letting you know what color the first man was. The first man was black. Job 30 and 30. This is all throughout the Bible. They say you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. When they gave us the Bible, they only read certain verses. John 3:16. Oh, slaves, obey your masters. When you do the research, they had a whole gathering and saying, look, this is the only thing you could teach the slaves out of this Bible. Make sure the ones that you do teach to read, that they're only reading these passages. That's why when you watch The Birth of a Nation, when the slave master was present, he read certain verses. But the moment he left, what he did, he started reading those verses that inspired insurrection. Watch this, read that.
Job chapter 30 and verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
So it tells you that the skin of the people of the Bible were black. But we won't read that because we've been so disconnected from our heritage, disconnected from the Bible, because that's the tool that they use to help enslave us, but not knowing that's the same book that's going to help to free us as well. Watch this. You got another one?
Yes, sir.
First Maccabees.
Yep. First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48.
This is the book that the so-called Jamaicans and Haitians used when they was revolting in the Caribbean. Watch this.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their image.
That's why in the 16th chapel you see the picture of naked Adam, the Caucasian, and naked Jesus touching fingers. They started painting their pictures of our people. They started making Jesus white, King Solomon white, King David white. They opened our books and started painting themselves in it to make it seem like it was them. But it wasn't. We were these people. These were our ancestors. Watch this, back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. So he says we'll be put on slave ships. Once we get off them slave ships, we'll be sold to our enemies. Because friends don't burn friends. Friends don't lynch friends. Friends don't take the next man's wife and rape her right in front of you. Matter of fact, Deuteronomy chapter 28, read verse 30.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife,
You'll be married to a woman,
and another man shall lie with her.
that's a curse in the Bible. That happened to our ancestors. But think about, this is history. This is the thing about prophecy in the Bible. Once it happened, it becomes history. And it's to the point where it's so big that you can't refute it. You can't go around it. Matter of fact, go to that for a sign. For a sign and a wonder upon your seed forever.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46. And they,
The curses, that's the day. Those curses, read.
shall be upon thee for a sign.
How you know that this is a barbershop? The sign outside. So when you see these curses happening to you, that's letting you know you're what? You're a child of God. You are the children of Israel. Our ancestors were put on slave ships. We serve our enemies in one of all things. Hold up, we're black just like the Bible. We're the people of God. That's what this Bible's supposed to be telling you right now. Read on.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Nah, just for 100 years.
Forever.
God says this will be upon you forever. You will know for a fact that you're the children of Israel based off of these curses. Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
God says you're going to go into Egypt again, slavery again with ships. Just so that way we can bring everybody to the same floor. Go to Exodus chapter 1. So you can see what we was doing in Egypt and see if it's any different now. Because the Bible explains itself. The reason we jump around, because in the Bible, once you read it, it's like Hansel and Gretel. God leave breadcrumbs for you to actually decode the Bible. Read that.
Straight to the point.
1 and 11.
Yep. Exodus chapter 1 verse 11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters,
Slave masters. Read.
to afflict them with their burdens.
To afflict us in our work. Read.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities.
So the children of Israel built treasure cities. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, New York City, Cali, LA, every city you can know, Chicago. It says the children of Israel built up treasure cities. We built up America. Do we profit from it? You want think about it. 400 years of non-profit. We ain't get paid not one dime. But yet you give 56 billion over to the people who sold us. And then you give how much? It's like about 300 billion over to Israel, to the people who aren't the real Jews every year. That's what I'm saying. America say they broke, but they not. They print their own money. They have a way to print more money without getting in trouble because they run the world. Watch this. Continue.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
And you see that? It says the more they afflicted us, the more they put burdens on us, the more we multiplied and grew. Think about this, right? When you read in the scriptures, Judah, the so-called African Americans, always were more in number than all the other tribes. That's why they put abortion clinics in your neighborhood. That's why they put think about even our music. Well, in our music, is it talking about marrying anymore? You remember back in the slow jams? Yeah, it was hard to say that this dude was about to smash it. It was kind of subtle. Now they like, yo, spread the legs open, eat your groceries, all types of stuff now. Like this is the type of music we listen to now. So now think about the kids. We know we were slow in it. We ain't the type of numbers that brothers are hitting today. These kids like 25 already in their hundreds. When we was about 25, we probably only slept with about 10, 15 women. But back with these new generations, the type of music that these kids are listening to, the type of things that they're pushing whoredom and lustful music all around our neighborhoods. Read it again. That last part.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
That part about the more they afflicted us, the more we multiplied and grew. They understood that the more they oppress us, the more we end up having children. And the more children that we're having, guess what? They're putting things in our way so that way we kill our own children. Women are making music, twerking in front of Planned Parenthood right now. They killing our kids. They said the worst place for a black man is in a black woman's stomach. Because the women already programmed that the black man ain't shit in America. So once they get pregnant, I ain't keeping that child because he's going to the next one. Why I'm going to keep this child? And guess what? Another black baby dead.
What is the nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word, His word, His word.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.